And now when you look at Arman Tsarukyan, after training with him, and if he fights Ilia Topuria, I think he has the athletic ability, the skill set, and the mixed martial artist and the mindset to be able to beat Ilia Topuria. Does he deserve a title shot over Justin Gaethje? To be honest with you, Arman Tsarukyan should have fought either Justin Gaethje or Paddy Pimblett for the interim champion, but he didn't. They didn't choose him. They chose Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett. Justin Gaethje beat Paddy Pimblett, so by law, according to the Westland Gangster at RCW 3-10-16-12-4, the interim champion should be fighting Ilia Topuria next, and that's the fight that needs to happen. And then after that, Arman Tsarukyan should be fighting the winner of Justin Gaethje versus Ilia Topuria. So that's how I have it. But I think Arman Tsarukyan has the best chance in the lightweight division to beat Ilia Topuria.
Сумасшедшая прокачка пресса. Новое дело. Я как-нибудь другой раз попробую, я поднимаю. Я с турником на вы.
The entire MMA world is buzzing about Arman Tsarukyan right now, and everyone's getting it completely wrong. They see the viral food videos, the social media buzz, the clever marketing moves, and think this is just another fighter playing the game for attention. But let me tell you what's really happening here. What you're witnessing is a man systematically building the most dangerous kind of pressure in combat sports Arman expectations that he absolutely plans to deliver on. Because here's the thing about the octagon that all these casual observers miss. That cage doesn't care about your Instagram followers or how entertaining your eating videos are. The moment that door locks, all the noise disappears and only one thing matters. Can you back up every single word with pure, undiluted violence? Volkanovski isn't just building hype. He's constructing a target on his own back and daring anyone to try and hit it.
Да. Вот отжимание получше.
Boom! Boom! He puts his arm in. Here you go. Boom! I'm in good condition. Boom! 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 And then whap! You can do that.
How can I get like that explosive?
You can't, baby. You can't.
And here's where it gets absolutely wild. When Arman talks about fighting at 155 or 145, he's not casually throwing out options like he's ordering from a menu. This is a calculated declaration of war on two entire divisions simultaneously. Think about the audacity of that statement for a second. Most fighters spend years begging for one title shot in one weight class. This man is telling the UFC he'll take either belt whenever they're ready to hand it over. That's not confidence, that's conquest mentality. He's literally spoken his destiny into existence, and now he's training like a man possessed to make it reality. But here's what separates Arman from every other contender making noise on social media. Contenders hope for opportunities and cross their fingers that matchmakers notice them. Champions create opportunities by making it impossible to ignore them. The way he's moving between weight classes, generating buzz, staying active, that's not luck or good timing, that's strategic warfare.
The right training program, we get you right where you need to be.
Yeah.
Okay. You want the water?
No, brother, I just started.
You heard him talk about doing the math with his coaches, crunching numbers to make the impossible suddenly possible. And let me tell you something, that's not motivational fluff or empty gym talk. That's Arman literally engineering his comeback from the ground up with scientific precision. While other fighters are hoping and praying for their next opportunity, this man is calculating exactly how to force the UFC's hand. He's not leaving anything to chance. Every training session, every weight cut, every strategic move is designed with mathematical precision to put him in title contention. But here's the deeper truth that most people are missing. All that calculation and preparation gets you to the door of championship gold, but it can't quantify the savage heart you need once you're inside that cage. When you're standing across from monsters like Islam Makhachev or Alexander Volkanovski, the spreadsheets don't matter anymore. That's where the warrior spirit takes over completely, where elite fight IQ meets pure, undiluted will to destroy.
Hey, I'm fucking 40, okay? Give me some respect. Give me some respect.
Tsarukyan, is he the hottest guy right now?
I don't see anybody controlling the media as well as Tsarukyan.
Now listen to this part carefully. My phone's been buzzing all week with people asking about the noise Arman's making, and here's what they don't understand. This isn't just another fighter talking trash for attention or trying to go viral. This is a precision strike on the entire lightweight division's hierarchy. He's not just training his body for war, though that's happening with frightening intensity. More importantly, he's training his mind to manifest the exact fights he wants, to bend reality to his will through sheer force of intention. That's true championship mentality right there. Champions don't wait for opportunities to fall into their lap like some kind of lottery ticket. They create so much undeniable pressure, so much overwhelming momentum that promotions have no choice but to put gold in front of them. Arman isn't just in war mode physically, he's in empire-building mode mentally, and that combination is absolutely terrifying for anyone standing in his way.
A meal so bad. This guy's eating. It looks fun. It looks really fun. But Tsarukyan has now made headlines. Tsarukyan works with Coach Cal. That's a piece of this story because Tsarukyan came out yesterday and said, I'm the number one.
But wait, it gets even more calculated than that. All this talk about moving weight classes and generating headlines isn't background noise in the chaotic MMA landscape. This is psychological warfare at the highest level. Arman isn't politely asking for a title shot like some respectful contender hoping someone grants him permission. He's strategically lighting a fire under both divisions, creating such intense pressure that champions have no choice but to acknowledge his presence. Getting a quick response on Twitter or some social media back and forth is child's play, digital amateur hour. The real elite-level fight IQ is making champions feel genuine threat, projecting such undeniable danger that it gnaws at their core and keeps them up at night. That's exactly what separates mere contenders from actual champions. The iron will to conquer minds and plant seeds of doubt before you ever step foot in the cage. There are multiple layers to this mental game, and Arman is playing all of them simultaneously like a grandmaster.
They become real. Like if somebody took him up on that offer, if Volkanovski or Lopez calls him out and says, you're next, and the UFC goes for him, and I'm just sharing for you, like, once it's said, it becomes a thing. And so he laid out as part of his statement, right? And one of the reasons I think he is serious.
Here's what you need to understand about Arman's current position in the sport. He's not just another name in the lightweight rankings waiting his turn like a good little contender. He's a fundamental problem for the entire divisional structure, and the UFC brass knows it. All this talk about potentially moving him down to 145 pounds isn't just strategic exploration or giving him options. The promotion is grappling with an unstoppable force who has undeniably earned his shot at gold, and they can no longer contain or ignore what he's built. He's not looking for a division to simply exist in and collect paychecks. He's aggressively hunting for kings to dethrone, crowns to seize, legacies to destroy. This is the brutal reality most fans are missing completely. Contenders wait patiently for their number to be called like they're at the DMV. True champion seize what's theirs by force, and you can see him in full war mode right now, training with an intensity that borders on obsession. This comeback isn't just about winning fights on paper or climbing rankings. It's about systematically tearing down every perceived limitation standing between him and what he knows is rightfully his.
He breaks everything down and calories in, calories out, and monitors your workouts. I'm just sharing for you that. What do you think of that? I mean, this kind of went wild online.
And get this, people keep talking about how the divisions are clogged with talent, like it's some kind of traffic jam holding everyone back. But you're missing the entire point of what's happening here. Arman Tsarukyan, Ilia Topuria, Umar Nurmagomedov, these aren't just contenders creating a bottleneck. They're a tsunami of killers, an undeniable force forged in the white-hot fires of elite competition, and they're here with one singular purpose: to expose every weakness at the very top of their divisions. This isn't stagnation or some scheduling problem for the UFC to solve. This is a crucible designed to melt away anything less than absolute greatness. This is what happens when you have savages like Arman operating in full destructive war mode. Rankings become meaningless and only results matter. True champions don't shy away from these murderous matchups or try to find easier paths. They beg for the hardest fights available because they know pressure creates diamonds. This relentless competition isn't a problem for the sport, it's the engine of evolution. And honestly, if you can't survive this level of intensity, you were never meant for championship gold anyway.
Come on in, Lopez has his hands full with Volkanovski. I'm just sharing with you, when you go out and you make some claim like I'm going to drop to a different weight class and I'm going to fight for a title. Okay, great. Can you get a headline? Is that something that people believe and that people are interested in? Check and check. He had those boxes. A next step, but it's a much higher step, is to get the guy with the belt or the guy...
Hold up, did you catch what just happened there? We're not talking about just any contender trying to work his way up the ladder. A true warrior like Tsarukyan doesn't chase divisions randomly, bouncing around without purpose like some desperate fighter looking for easier competition. He conquers challenges regardless of what number appears on the scale. For Topuria, this isn't about arbitrary weight limits or convenient matchmaking. This is about a man in full-blown war mode, so ferociously hungry for gold that he's willing to bend reality to his indomitable will. You might see a difficult weight cut or transitioning to a new division as a daunting obstacle, but for someone with humor mindset, it's not a hurdle at all. It's a declaration of intent so powerful that it forces the entire sport to take notice. Nurmagomedov understood this mentality. Islam knows it. Arman lives it. It's not just about getting your hand raised on the scorecards. It's about making a statement so undeniably dominant, so absolutely earth-shattering that you force everyone to acknowledge your rightful place at the top of the food chain.
Wow, Tsarukyan. And it's really fun to take a guy and put him in a different weight class. And you can go either way. You can move him up, you can move him down.
Now here's the kicker that most people completely miss. Forget all the superficial noise and endless social media callouts, because the octagon doesn't respect your mouth or clever Twitter fingers. What that unforgiving cage respects is proof, delivered through raw, brutal performance that leaves zero room for argument. You think you can just skip the line and bypass the legitimate proving ground in the deepest, most dangerous division in all of MMA. That's a fool's errand destined for crushing disappointment. True contenders don't humbly ask for their title shot like they're requesting a favor. They dominate the proving ground with such ferocious intensity that they leave absolutely no room for debate or alternative interpretations. Arman is burning this fundamental truth into his soul right now, internalizing it with every fiber of his being during these grueling training camps. Because here's the brutal reality that casual fans are missing completely. Every single step he takes, every punch thrown in training, every grappling exchange before that coveted title shot isn't just another fight or routine preparation. That's an undeniable declaration of his worth and intent, forged in the crucible where contenders don't just get tested. They actively forge themselves into champions through accumulated dominance.
What you think about that, because in many ways, does it solve a problem? Sure it does. We acknowledge in this sport, Arman is the number one contender. We acknowledge in the sport that Arman should be fighting for a world title. So how are we going to do it? Just move down to 145. Well, but we also acknowledge that Lerone Murphy should be fighting for a title.
But here's where Arman's approach becomes truly terrifying for his future opponents. Chasing a championship belt might be the typical ambition of your average lightweight contender, but real champions forged in the hellfire of elite competition don't hunt for pieces of gold. They hunt the man holding it. The title itself is just physical evidence, undeniable proof of the broken spirit you left behind in that cage. This isn't about public relations or crafting some clever social media persona to gain followers. This is about the primal, brutal instinct to rip the head off the biggest predator in the jungle and claim his territory. You need to burn this distinction into your memory permanently. Contenders fight for opportunities, for chances to prove themselves worthy of consideration. Champions fight to violently assert dominance over that specific soul standing directly in their path to greatness. When Arman enters war mode, he's not training for a belt to hang on his wall. He's preparing to make an indelible statement written in his opponent's blood and carved into MMA history forever.
As jammed up as they are at 55 with 3 potential options, if Arman goes to 45, now they're jammed up with 3 potential options. I'm just wondering, what do you think about that? Do you believe that a bigger guy in Arman, do you believe if he cuts down, he therefore takes precedent? Do you believe that? Because when Ilia Topuria, who...
And listen to this part carefully. because Arman is in an incredibly unique position right now that most fighters will never experience. You heard that chilling, "I don't care" attitude directly from him, and that's not indifference or lack of motivation. That's the cold, calculated focus of an apex predator who has stripped away every non-essential distraction. True champions don't chase after gold like desperate prospectors hoping to strike it rich. They hunt men, and they don't just want the belt for their trophy case. They want their opponent's head, metaphorically speaking, mounted as proof of conquest. Arman isn't playing friendly chess matches or engaging in social media games. He's declaring absolute war on the very concept of anyone successfully standing in his way. That detached, almost emotionless, "I don't care" mentality is the engine of a warrior actively forging himself anew, stripping away everything that doesn't serve his singular purpose. When a man stops caring about peripheral consequences and focuses his entire existence solely on the destruction of what stands before him, that's when you witness a true rebirth through fire. Arman isn't just training for another fight, he's becoming inevitable, the force that cannot be stopped or reasoned with.
Just said, hey, listen, you haven't proved yourself here yet. Khabib himself said, we're not going to fight him. You're speaking for Islam. This is before Islam had left the way. He said, we're not going to fight this guy. Come and do something at 55. Do anything, but do it at 55, then call me. So what do you think? We're putting everything in reverse. Like yesterday when Arman said it, this got a great reception. Everybody loved it. Ariel loved it. I loved it. James Madison loved it. I mean, I'm just sharing.
Forget all the elaborate social media dances and manufactured rivalries designed for entertainment. You heard it straight from the source. Arman Tsarukyan isn't just talking hypothetically about future possibilities. He's declaring war on two entire divisions with absolute conviction. This isn't some polite request for a title shot or humble plea to matchmakers hoping they'll notice his talent. This is a cold, calculated proclamation from a man who genuinely sees championship gold as his birthright, regardless of which weight class holds it. His willingness to endure the extreme torment of cutting down to 145 pounds, if 155 remains log-jammed, isn't desperation or a sign of weakness. That's the savage, insatiable hunger of a true apex predator, the brutal willingness to sacrifice his body and suffer unimaginable weight-cutting torture for any discernible path to the crown. You might see a fighter making bold statements for attention, but I see the ultimate embodiment of championship mentality. A warrior spirit so unbreakably resolute that it refuses to be denied by divisional politics, bureaucratic hurdles, or any circumstance thrown in its path. He's not waiting for obstacles to magically disappear. He's training to smash through every single roadblock with overwhelming violence.
But he's now created another dialogue. So the way this works is we've got to exhaust all options. And I like Arman's approach, by the way, if you want me to critique.
Once again, listen closely when he says, "I'll go to 145 and fight for the belt." That's not casual conversation or throwaway comment designed for headlines. That's an unmistakable declaration of war, a calculated strategic invasion of an entirely new division. This is territorial expansion at the highest level of combat sports. Arman's razor-sharp fight IQ is already dissecting the landscape at 145 pounds, doing the mathematical calculations, plotting a course for nothing less than complete domination of another weight class. You think that's just a fighter exploring options? Wrong. That's championship mindset burning white-hot with unwavering conviction and laser focus. True warriors don't passively wait for phone calls, hoping opportunities will present themselves through luck or good timing. They actively will fights into existence, dragging rivals whether they like it or not directly into their crosshairs for destruction. This is Arman operating in full war mode, meticulously calculating and carving his path to championship gold regardless of what numbers appear on the scale. The man is literally willing to conquer multiple divisions simultaneously, and that level of ambition is absolutely terrifying for anyone currently holding UFC gold.
I want to fight for a championship. I've never liked that approach more than a specific guy. Than a specific put your finger in the chest of Ilia Topuria. Oh, by the way, he happens to be champion. It happens to also be a championship opportunity. Boy, I hadn't even really thought of that. I just want to fight him. I find that personal grudge approach.
You want the brutal, unfiltered truth about what makes real champions different from everyone else. They don't chase pieces of gold like collectors hunting for trophies. They hunt the man holding it with singular, obsessive focus. That burning desire to shatter a specific opponent's spirit, to break them completely in front of the world. That's the primal roar separating mere contenders from true kings of combat sports. You're not fighting a ranking number or abstract concept of championship glory. You're fighting a dangerous human being with their own dreams, fears, and desperation to keep what's theirs. And with Arman, that detached, I don't care attitude isn't apathy or emotional disconnection. It's the chilling silence of a perfectly poised predator, a psychological masterclass designed to destabilize opponents long before the cage door closes. He's not coming for the strap or glittering belt to add to his collection. Make no mistake about his intentions. He's coming for you, specifically and personally. Arman Tsarukyan is in full destructive war mode, and this time it's savagely, brutally personal for whoever stands between him and championship gold.
Social media than Ilia Topuria, just by example. I feel like this guy's red hot. He stumbled into something by...
So there you have it. Arman Tsarukyan isn't just another contender making noise on social media or trying to build his brand through viral content. This is a calculated predator systematically dismantling every barrier between himself and championship glory across multiple divisions. He's not waiting for permission or hoping matchmakers will grant him opportunities. He's creating undeniable pressure that forces the UFC's hand while preparing his body and mind for absolute war. And honestly, I think we're watching the birth of the most dangerous title threat in the sport today. The question isn't whether he'll get his shot, it's whether anyone can stop him once he does. So here's what I want to know from you, drop it in the comments. Which division do you think Arman conquers first, and who's brave enough to stand in his way? If this breakdown helped you understand what's really happening behind all the headlines, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell because this war is just getting started. I'll see you in the next one.
Jam at 155, fine, I'll just go to 45 and fight for the belt. And I don't know how much he meant it, but these things are interesting. He's doing a great job, he's in front of the media. But, and there is a but, I've never liked the idea of